Oh, yeah, you good to go. You good to go. Well, in the world of Big Love Country, I hope everybody out there is doing good this morning. We're here in the morning time. Look, we got a special show coming on today. We got Jack Spade, we got Twill, and I done some research, right? I went because whenever you bring a guy like this on, you got to do your research. So, you know, um, got a degree from Northwestern, 92.9 the game. Some people might say one of the voices of Atlanta, and I also learned Wizard of Oz connoisseur.
Say what? The Wizard of Oz?
Wizard of Oz connoisseur. We got Mr. John Fricke here today.
Wrong guy.
The Wizard of Oz.
Hey.
So there's two of us. There's two John Frickes. Other dude's a Wizard of Oz freak, and it's like I would get email from him. Hey, you know what Dorothy's doing? And I'm like, what the hell is Dorothy? Dorothy? What are you talking about? Tin Man's gonna go out and I'm like, Tin Man. What the hell is Tin
Man? The crazy thing is that because I was like, wait a minute, I never knew this before, so I actually did a little bit more research. I was like, no, that's not different. That's not
I want to make that clear. Well, you know what? I don't do much TV anymore. You can really see the effect still of when I have my seizure, can't you? Wow. But you know what's funny is in TV. No, all right. Let's stop for a second. Let's all agree on something. If women didn't wear makeup, like right in public, right, they'd be like this much less cute, right? Okay. And so in TV, guys wear makeup, and of course I would wear, base powder and whatever at CNN and Fox and wherever else I worked. And there are guys in TV who will go out in public. Some of the guys I worked with, guys who were anchors, who would wear makeup because they didn't want to go out in public. Oh my God, really?
Wow.
Yeah, they wouldn't go out. They wouldn't go to a game or a movie. They were afraid to run into somebody that would recognize them. And so, oh my God,
man,
I can believe him. I can believe him on that. Seeing how some of the TV media personalities are all, pucker me up before I get ready to go on camera. You got to hit them with the face and all that type of stuff. So I can believe John. Yeah, that's true.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Well, look, we're having like a little brunch show this morning. I know there's a lot of things that's going on in the world of Atlanta Falcons football, just football in general, with the combine and everything else. I just wanted to ask everybody. I'm pretty sure everybody's been hearing about the 900-pound elephant in the room. What's going on with Justin Fields? Do y'all think it's a good move? Do y'all think we should go forward with it or go in another direction? What y'all thinking?
Well, John, do you want us to start and then you kind of piggyback off of that? Or do you want to go?
I'll just jump in.
So, I talked to, Country, I talked to Myles Garrett last year, right? And around that bye week time, I asked him the Justin Fields question because you heard rumors and reports around it kind of close to last year. But for the Fields question now that is actually in play, and some fans will try to go back and say, well, we tried to target Watson. We tried to target Jackson, so I don't believe the hype. In this situation, you can go get Fields. This is totally different than the Lamar Jackson situation. So for me, I had a list of quarterbacks that I wanted to see here in Atlanta that I thought would be a good fit. There's about 5 guys. Fields was on the list. A lot of fans went at me debating, hey, you can't do that. Don't throw Fields in the mix. I continue to throw Fields in the mix, even since last year. And now to hear his name being popped up in this offseason, it's possible that the Falcons could get this guy. Now, I know a lot of fans are going to be upset because the record in Chicago and his stats in Chicago and his performance in Chicago, but we all kind of see the football element of he was dealt a bad hand in Chicago, right? From the coaching staff to some of the weapons that he had to look at too as well as a quarterback wasn't the greatest option as a quarterback. But then you bring him here to Atlanta, you kind of get a whole new look of Justin Fields. Plus the QB whisperer, as we're saying here, Zach Robinson, should be able to help develop him at another stage. He's also young in his career, so it's like you're kind of getting a rookie in that sense. Isn't Penix around the same age as Justin Fields too as well? Like,
yeah, he's a year younger.
Yep. So it's kind of like you're getting a rookie in a sense, but though he's had some years to develop. The comments from Zach Robinson about the elite processor and wants the ball in his hands at the end of the game. I was looking more so the Russell Wilson target, but I'm comfortable with Fields as a fan because that's just how I feel as a fan. Like if you go draft, I'm comfortable. If you go Fields, I'm comfortable. Russell Wilson, cool. But if you start looking at the names that we do not talk about on the radio or the names we don't talk about on the podcast, then I have a problem. And I think Justin Fields' name has been brought up enough over the past few months that fans have to start realizing that it could be possible. So for me, I'm comfortable with the possibility that he could be here in Atlanta. That's just my thoughts.
12.
T-Will? What you got, T-Will?
First and foremost, John, I am a big fan. I am honored. I am esteemed, and I'm just over the moon to be on the show with you. So I'd be remiss if I didn't say that.
Let me interject. I do have a call-in show tomorrow and Sunday from 10 to 2 on the radio that you are more than welcome all of you to call in. I'm sure we're going to be talking about this.
I will do that. And thank you for that invitation. So back to Justin Fields. I'm okay with it with the current staff that we have because, to Jack's point, we do have a quarterback whisperer. We have Raheem Morris, who people tend to follow, right? Guys that around the league that typically don't speak out for other coaches speak for him. So I think we have the leadership in place. I think that we have the coaching staff in place. I think that we have some weapons for Justin, right? Because let's be real, he really didn't have that much in Chicago. You have a decent offensive line. You have Kyle Pitts. You have Drake London. You have Bijan. You have Tyler Algier. You have whoever else we're going to get in the draft or free agency. And you have a good defense on the other end. So I think with all of the great brain trust over at Swanee, I think we'd be okay with Justin. I really do. I think we can win
Better
with
offensive line too.
Yeah. And I'm okay with it. So, John, I'll defer to you.
Well, when Drew Brees was in San Diego, the Chargers fans ran him out of town because he was no good. And, look, Ritter could go. Do we all think that Ritter could go somewhere else and flourish and become a quarterback? Yeah, he might. Sometimes it's just not a fit. And Justin may just not be a fit in Chicago. Look, let's talk about doable options here. And this is something you're going to hear on the radio show tomorrow. In all the discussions I'm having on X or on Facebook or even here or on the radio, a lot of fans are talking about things that are not doable options. They're saying, well, let's trade up for Jaden Daniels. In what world have any of us heard that Chicago at 1, Washington at 2, New England at 3 is willing to trade? Because I haven't heard that, unless you did. And do you think that Dan Quinn, as the head coach of the Washington Commanders, is going to trade the number 2 pick to the Atlanta Falcons? Are you out of your mind?
I keep saying it. I keep saying it.
He traded to New Orleans. He'd do that. That's what Marvin Harrison here. He's not going to trade with us. Yeah, I think the man's probably got a little bit of bitterness in him. I mean, stop with that. So doable options. Kirk Cousins is $45 million a year guaranteed. That's what he wants. That's going to eat up almost all the $51 million cap you have at the moment. I don't want to do that. I want to go out and get Mekhi Becton. I want to go out and get, somebody else. There's Jordan Fuller, the safety out of the Rams. Drag him here to put him alongside, Jesse Bates. I want to go get a stretch wide receiver. I don't want to trust that we have to do that in the draft. And then the whole thing about Russ Wilson is Denver hasn't said they're letting Russ go. B, they may not do that until after the draft. After the draft, what are you going to be sitting around? What are you going to be doing? Sitting around on draft day going, oh my God, we've got the number 8 pick and our quarterback room is going to be Desmond Ridder and Bo Nix. Okay, good. Good luck.
I keep saying this a lot, and I'm glad John is here so we can get some confirmation from somebody who's in that field that is really close to interviewing the Falcons and speaking to the media members. And he does a great job on the radio. So, John, my hat's off to you about what you talk about with the Falcons, because that's why we invited you here. Fans are in the chat going crazy right now. Look, there's a Saints fan in the chat. He wants to know what's going on with the Falcons, too. Look, he's scared about the upcoming season. But
good.
You mentioned the quarterbacks. You mentioned the teams ahead of us. And I've been saying it on our podcast, too, Terry. How are we so sure that the Commanders are going to trade their pick if they want a quarterback? Right. Who wants to trade the guy that they want to a team that needs the guy? Oh, correct. Number 8 and number 9 is calling. Let me answer. You guys want a quarterback? Well, we want a quarterback too, but we'll let you guys get him this year. We'll look in the future. It doesn't work like that. Washington wants their guy. They're going to get their guy. Gerard Mayo's comments when he first became the head coach to CBS Sports when he said, we're going to draft the most important position that is needed for a franchise. And then last night you hear that the Patriots are probably going to select a quarterback at 3, which means do not call number 3. We're not answering the phone. We like our guy. We're not trading. So for the Falcons, you look at the offseason, if you got to get through the free agency to get to the draft. And if you're sitting in that draft room, like John said, and you didn't get a guy in free agency and you're waiting for a Russell Wilson move in June, are you the only team waiting for that Russell Wilson move? And does Russell Wilson want to come play in Atlanta too as well?
Will he be available? We don't know.
Gosh. See, I never thought about the whole aspect of them not letting him go until after the draft. So like, is it a possibility that it could be a post June 1st cut?
Or it'd be pre-June 1st because of cap if they're going to cut it. But still post April 15, April 18, they could do it in May.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To take.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Terry.
No, I agree with that. I think we're at the point. Can we afford to wait? Right? Can we afford to wait until after the draft? Because, to John's point, you're probably not going to be able to trade with Dan Quinn at 2. You're not going to be able to trade at 3. I'm pretty sure Chicago's not trading at 1. So that leaves you 4. And at 4, what's going to be available? So now, my line of thinking is maybe we better go ahead and take care of business before the draft, so we can go into the draft with our quarterback saying, okay, we can address these needs, whatever that is. And John, I am 100% in agreement with you when you say, I don't think we can afford Cousins at $45 million. I don't know if we have an all-star capologist, but to John's point, if we've got $51 million and he's going to take up $45, I don't even know that we have the money to sign the rookies, let alone anybody else.
Big Look, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
All right. So think historically in the draft. All right.
Uh-huh.
And I put it out on my Twitter a couple weeks ago. Maybe I'll put it back out here. You've got, say, 6 to 7 quarterbacks that are available here. Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy, Spencer Rattler. We'll just say those 7. Maybe there's
Jordan Travis.
Okay. All right. So let's say it's 8. 2 of them are going to be really good. One's going to be a superstar. 2 of them are going to be okay. 2 of them are going to probably be busts. I mean, they're going to turn into Trey Lance. The problem is you don't know who, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we just don't know who. I want to give you a little story, and then I want to ask you a question, Bigelow. When I was in San Diego, I got to know, because I was there for it, all of it, was Ryan Leaf. When the draft comes up, right, and San Diego sitting 3rd, they trade up to 2nd with Arizona. They give Arizona a whole bunch of stuff to move up to number 2 behind Indianapolis. And everybody in Southern California was pleading on the radio up to the draft, please, Indianapolis, take the happy-footed Peyton Manning, because the Ryan Leaf we just saw who should have beaten Michigan, that's the big arm gun we want. They all wanted Ryan Leaf, did not want Peyton Manning. To a person and nonstop. So you never know. I mean, be careful what you wish for here. And Bigelow, isn't that a case where if we sit around and wait, now Justin Fields may be a bust if he comes here, but if you sit around and wait, one thing is true. You're going to fail if you sit around and wait, because you're going to run the risk, aren't you?
You're going to run. I mean, look, think about it. We've kind of sit around and waited the last 2 years.
Yeah.
The whole Marcus Mariota. I mean, I know that it was, we had cap restrictions and things like that. And, he was trying to break the record for the first person to complete a pass from his back. And then you had Desmond Ritter, come in, and, we had issues with that. And so, I mean, it's like, I think the whole city of Atlanta and the whole state of Georgia kind of agrees with you, John. Like, we waited long enough. It's like, we missed the days when you could go into the bins and you have a chance to win because you have competent quarterback play.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, Terry, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Cousins wants, and he's asking for 2 years and $90 million guaranteed, $45 million a year. Yes, Justin Fields, and this is another part of the problem with discussing this online, is the fans don't understand. Well, we got to pay Justin Fields a new contract. No, we do not have to pay. He's under contract for $6 million this year. You'd have to pick up the 5th-year option. That's 24. So that's $30 million for 2 years. So you spread it out a little bit some way, somehow. But
Correct.
$6 million, right? So let's say he comes here and he's a bust. I think that some fans are missing something here. I think they're missing two things. Number one is Desmond Ridder is still going to be on the team. He's going to be the backup. I mean, you can always turn to him and Zach Robinson. Who knows? Maybe Zach Robinson turns Desmond Ridder into a quarterback. Or if it is a total bust and a total flame out, you took a shot, you missed. If you have to eat the Justin Fields money, I don't know, you go out and draft Carson Beck next year or something. I mean, there's going to be more quarterbacks, right, Terry? I mean, it's not like just this year.
Yes. I agree 100%. And the more I think about it, in my mind's eye, it's Russell, because you could probably get him for really cheap and spend money on your defense. Then Justin, because to your point, it's a total of $30 million and we can always draft next year. And then Kirk Cousins, in that order. But the more I think about it, the more we talk about it, I am more than okay with Justin Fields, because economically it gives us the opportunity to do other things. Guys, we need a cornerback, right? We need an edge rusher. We need an edge rusher like yesterday.
Yeah, that's
right?
why we need Dallas Turner. Did you see Dallas
Absolutely.
Turner? You want
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. And anybody else that wants to come along with him, as far as I'm concerned. I'd love for us to go and get who are we talking about the other day, Jack?
Somebody kid from Florida State.
No. Free agency. Stud, not Chris Jones.
Christian Wilkins. Christian Wilkins is one. Burns too as well. Josh Allen. I mean, depends on what happens with your Carolina situation.
Well, Josh Allen's re-signing Jacksonville.
If you because Mr. John, you've been around probably a little before. I'm sure you remember the Grits Blitz, right?
Well, yeah, sure, of course.
I'm sure you do, right? We haven't had a pass rush like that or a defense like that since the Grits Blitz, and I'm just envisioning the number 8 pick and maybe Brian Burns, or the number 8 pick and the list of folks that Jack just listed. It would make our defense so much better. It would enable us to get off the field, and it would give Justin, I believe, a little more leeway and a little more flexibility as far as the game is concerned. So I'm all about trying to get Justin or Russell because it makes the draft that much easier. Jack, what are your thoughts on it? Country, what are your thoughts on it?
So now you're talking Russell now. And you know how I am because I'm Atlanta.
Absolutely.
And Atlanta they love to be petty at times.
They do.
And Russell Wilson, I'm telling y'all, man. I'm telling y'all from Atlanta. Not just Jack Spade from Atlanta. Russell Wilson, if you look at his career stats, even last year's stats, like Myles Garrett said to us the other day, you put Russell Wilson in our team last year, that's probably NFC Championship game with the 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 3,000 plus yards. You put him in Denver, bad situation. Sometimes the circumstances, Country, as we talked about, sometimes the circumstances, don't work out in your favor. So for Russell Wilson, you put him here in Atlanta, I'd love to see that happen. Number one, that's my overall choice because of the stats. He's an elite processor. He's the guy that you're talking about when it goes to try to win and get over the hump. And then his comments the other day with Brandon Marshall saying he wants to win 2 more Super Bowls. Shit, I want 1. That's all I want. But then you go to Atlanta. And Atlanta has this petty side where the moment he's in Atlanta, the Twitter boards will start heating up about things that don't concern Russell Wilson on the field. It's off the field distractions. And for those that say, no, it won't happen, man, this is Atlanta. This is not no shot to Phoenix or Iowa or Idaho. This is not those cities. This is Atlanta. We love to chat and talk on social media. And they will use the moments where Russell Wilson is not elite to start bashing him. I'm there, home and away games. I'm there. I see the fans yelling at Ridder. I'm right behind the bench. I hear it. I look up to see, you wasn't here last week. That's a single game ticket you bought. You're not a season ticket holder because I've never seen you here before. So now fans are coming here to bash Ridder because of Ridder's performance. I don't want to see that with Russell Wilson because he's already proven that he can win. So if he comes to Atlanta, he can make this team better with Drake, with Bijan, with Kyle, and the new weapons. He would make this team much better. But the moment he throws an interception or a sack or we lose the game, they're going to take it personal on Russell Wilson. And if Russell Wilson is a diehard, he's a family man.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's some situations off the field that some fans agree with me with, and there's some situations off the field that some fans don't agree with me. But I can guarantee you, Atlanta, with the media, the entertainment, they will find ways to piss him off the field. I think we know what we're talking about. We're not going to talk about this, rappers and all that stuff. But yeah, there's some situations off the field. And number two, Arthur Blank does not like outside media attention. He does not like that stuff. You come in here, you play football. I don't want to hear all this, these journalists in here asking random questions about, stuff that doesn't belong with football. We talk football. Look at the players that's been in the building for Arthur Blank. Do not step on the logo in the locker room, and you guys be respectful in front of the media. We've seen that from players, even with the Calvin fallout or Deion Jones. Nobody came out bashing the Falcons. I think the thing that we had in the last year or the last couple years that was big to us was CP retweeted a tweet that said he wasn't used efficiently with Arthur Smith. That's like the biggest thing I've seen from a player going back at the organization or going back at the coaching staff. I have never seen Julio. I mean, that situation with Shannon Sharp, but those years with Julio here and Matt here, it's all professional leadership, accountability. And you get that with Russell Wilson, but the off the field issue with the fans going at him due to his choice of who he's dating will come into play because this is Atlanta.
Let me ask John. So John, do you think, because you've been in Atlanta and associated with Atlanta for so long, do you think that the situation with Russell Wilson would affect, if we win or lose, I'm not even considering that, but do you think it would affect him even wanting to come to Atlanta?
Yes, that's the other thing. Would I love to have Russ? Of course. The problem again is you run into is now they're having conversations. I'm sure they're talking to Denver. What happens, now is, anything's possible, and so, I'll put my faith and credit in Raheem and with Terry Fontenot and with Zach Robinson to be able to make the right call. Whatever call they make, I'll certainly support until or unless it doesn't work. As I did with Smith, and he said, hey, the noodle arm quitters got game, and he turned into the noodle arm quitter. No. Right. So, yeah, if you come here and win, you're going to be fine. One thing about Justin is that Justin being from Kennesaw, being a Falcons fan, growing up a Falcons fan, being around Falcons fans, tweeting at Falcons fans, I'm sure when he was in high school, he knows and understands Falcons fans. So he knows exactly what he's getting into. So there's something to be said, I think, for that, maybe on that level, what Jack's talking about. Again, winning solves everything. So, and look, winning doesn't always preclude Falcons fans or any fans from being, as Jack said, kind of petty and bitter. Hugh was King Richard petty, and I was.
Shout out Hugh.
Shout out to you, man.
Hugh.
Just the truth.
So we got to come,
but he was. That's who he was. Is that Matt Ryan? Look at Matt Ryan. Dude's going to the Hall of Fame, and
Yep.
And the haters are like, do you like? It's like, how do you like it now? Okay, just asking. I said, you guys, when he's gone, you're going to miss him. Oh, no, we're not going to miss Matt Ryan. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're learning the hard way, right? They're learning the hard way.
Yeah.
We got a couple Superman chats in here. Rose Stacks, and he says, what about the Baker Mayfield rumors to Atlanta? No.
He's Tampa's offering him a long-term contract. You can scratch Baker. See, again, it goes back, guys, to doable. Baker's off the table. You're not trading up to top 3. The only way you could theoretically trade up to top 3 is if Chicago decided they didn't want Caleb Williams, and they traded back to, say, 2 with Washington and got a couple of things from Washington to move up, and then they moved back from 2 to maybe to where we are, and they just started loading up on draft picks. And they said, okay, we're comfortable with, Justin Fields and drafting, Michael Penix or something, and we're just going to load up, which, by the way, is not a bad game plan unless you believe that Caleb Williams is Patrick Mahomes. And I think they look at Caleb Williams and think he's Patrick Mahomes.
I do too.
John, I got a quick question for you. Is it possible now the draft scenario changes and Caleb Williams goes 1 to Chicago? Maybe Russell Wilson goes to Washington to hook up with Dan Quinn. So now they don't need that number 2. And the Patriots somehow say, okay, we'll take a shot at Kirk Cousins. Maybe we'll be open to trade. Is it possible that they can go a different route where the Falcons can now move into 2 or 3 to go grab a Drake May or Jaden Daniels?
That's absolutely. Don't get me wrong. There are scenarios that you can paint, but again, are you going to go to draft day and hope? I mean, that's the problem here. I mean,
right.
Again, what's the worst outcome on April 19th? The day after the draft. Are you sitting around with Desmond Ridder and Logan Woodside, or Desmond Ridder and Spencer Rattler, and you're going, hey, we got it. I mean, maybe they will. By the way, I can't tell you what Zach Robinson's thinking. Zach Robinson may be saying, hey, I worked out Ridder. Isn't Ridder one of those guys that everybody, it's like, I can fix him? I mean, everybody looks at him and goes, I can fix him.
I can fix him.
They're using the Coach Smith method of he wasn't a good quarterbacks coach developing type of guy, and the play calling, and they gave too much to Dez. I'm all for that. Because you look at Fields, it's like, well, he had the same kind of situation in Chicago. And difference is, because my friends go at me and say 11-29. That's Fields. 11 wins in 3 years.
Excuse me. Pardon me. Did I miss that he's got an elite arm and he can run like crazy? And
fans overlook that, John. They're looking at the record.
Okay, the record. All right, again, do we got to go back to what was Drew Brees' record in San Diego? It's a right fit thing. Look, I'm not saying I'm right here. I'm saying what's a doable thing. Let's give it a shot. We had the one quarterback from Collins Hill, right, with Heineke. Now we got another quarterback, could be from Harrison. Everybody wants local guys. Hell, he checks another box. He's a UGA guy. I know, but still, he's a UGA guy. He checks another one of those damn boxes that fans want to check. And so if it doesn't work, then fine. You say, look, we took a shot and it didn't work, and you go in a different route. But don't be sitting around here. My biggest fear here is that they are sitting around and opening day. Let me stop for a second, because some fans say, at 8, we'll just draft a quarterback, which, God, I want Dallas Turner so bad I can't stand it. Or we'll draft Penix. But if you do draft a J.J. McCarthy at 8, or a Bo Nix or whatever, Spencer Rattler, whatever. If you draft a quarterback, you cannot make the presumption that a rookie quarterback not taken in the top 3 is going to beat out Desmond Ridder in camp. And next year, that high number 8 pick is sitting on the bench and Desmond Ridder's playing.
Absolutely. Very true.
Very true. He gave us a Superman chat. He said, Coach, go ahead and talk to Coach Heen. Let's work on the trade down and take Penix and prosper. Hello, I hang up and listen. Dun, da, da. That's a Superman chat.
I'm not. Let me tell you something, and no disrespect to Michael Penix. I'm not impressed. I was not impressed. And I think Penix could be had in the second round. That doesn't mean that he will, okay? And I understand that he could have been injured. But that performance in that last game, he threw off his back foot the entire game.
T-Will, he was throwing off his back foot in the hotel last night. He was throwing lasers in that hotel last night.
No,
I guess he was practicing throwing off.
Not in that game, sir. This is the NFL, and a lot of the defenses you're going to see are going to be like Michigan, right? And I understand. I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm saying at 8, no way.
Oh, no.
20, no way, right? So unless we're going to trade back to 25, 24, I don't see Penix. He may be available in the second round. And hey,
I agree. I want to ask all 3 of you a question. I want to go Bigelow, Terry, and Jack. I want to ask all of you a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that with a competent, not a great, not a franchise, a competent quarterback last year, A, the Falcons would have won the South with a competent quarterback, and B, do you think Justin Fields is a competent quarterback?
A,
yes.
B, yes.
Yes, and yes.
1,000 times yes.
Yes, and yes.
1,000. Jack, what's your answer, Jack? You just over there quiet like?
No, I said yes.
Okay.
I said yes. I agree.
Oh, okay.
What we're talking about here is bringing a competent quarterback in. People say he's not a franchise. I don't care. You're not getting a franchise guy. The franchise guy's going number 1.
Yep. Agreed.
So, John, some would say if you go free agency and you don't go Justin Fields or Russ or Kirk, and you go get a guy like Gardner Minshew or a Cooper Rush or somebody, that means that they're probably targeting the draft if they don't go and get a splash guy in free agency. That's the only move they can go, right? I mean, you didn't go for Fields in the free agency. You probably wouldn't go for Russ or Kurt. let's just say day 2 of free agency, Falcons sign, I don't know, some backup. Give me a backup name. I don't care. Anybody. And they go through the whole free agency, don't sign no more other quarterbacks. Then that means draft day, we should be looking for the Falcons to trade up.
If you can.
Yeah.
If somebody's willing to trade.
Yeah. That's the issue we've had in the past, right? Like,
what if everybody says,
trade up in the past?
All right, we'd like to have the number 2. Go to hell.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's interesting that
there's no guarantees here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and by the way, last time I saw Gardner Minshew, Taylor Heineke was kicking his ass here. Okay.
Shit, might as well bring back Taylor. I throw backup names around all the time because fans are like, well, what about this guy? Some people mention Sam Darnold. Some people mention Jimmy G. You see how fans, I want fans in the chat to watch this. I'm mentioning these names to John Fricke, and he's already bowing his head and tipping his hat like, do not do this. John has been here as a Falcon fan enough to know what he wants to win.
Right.
And he has seen the quarterbacks available. Falcon fans, if you look at this year's free agency, this is what is available.
Yeah.
Right. If you look at what you did in the past couple of years, Kuntry, you mentioned the past 2 years. I mean, we missed our guy at quarterback, but we went to go get a star wide receiver in Drake London, star tight end in Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. You got Drake Matthews, you got Chris Lindstrom. You got a fantastic O-line, but then again, you don't have a quarterback. So this is the year to go get your guy. John, I want to ask you another question. The Giants and teams ahead. This is what I was talking to my friends about. There's teams around you that might be a little bit more hungrier than you when it comes to trades. A couple of my friends said, no, you're sitting at 8. Nobody would take a trade with a team from 13. You're sitting at 8. If a team from 13 or 11 or 12 is offering more to a team at 3 and 4, would that team take that offer versus the team that's sitting at 8 just because the team is at 8? Like, if I'm giving up 4 picks and the team is giving up 6 and 7 in the player, you would take the 6, 7 in the player. Am I right?
Well, yeah, it depends on how you value. This is why the combine and the pro day workouts, how you value the quarterbacks and how you value your own quarterback. I think that there is remains again, and I know some Falcons fans don't want to hear this because I'm going to go back to something I just said, a belief system inside the Falcons locker room that existed with Arthur Smith and Dave Ragone that obviously didn't work. That probably still exists with Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris, of like the $6 million man, he's broken, but we can fix him, in Desmond Ridder, that they believe that Desmond sits, for example, for a year or two, or Justin doesn't work out, we can always throw Ridder in. I think the odds that Desmond Ridder are going to be on this team are extremely high. They could include him in a trade, but I don't see them doing that. If they go out and get a starting quarterback, Ridder will be the backup. There's no reason not to have him. He's under a rookie contract. And frankly, who are you going to get that's better? So I think that he's going to be part of this team in some form or fashion. The question is, do you want to risk him being the starter? And that's the question you have to ask yourself. And people make up this stuff. Well, I'd rather have Kirk Cousins. Well, what if Kirk Cousins doesn't want to be here? What if he wants to go to Las Vegas? What if he wants to go to Pittsburgh? I mean, you can't just put your eggs in one basket. Whatever they end up doing here, look, they're going to try and do something. If I have to guess here, and I'll say this on the radio, they're certainly talking to Chicago, but other teams are too. And Chicago's going to get the best deal it can get. And Chicago's looking for, if the Falcons were to offer, let's say, the number 43 pick, all right, we'll swap 8, 9 because Chicago's got the 9th pick. But we'll give you number 8. We'll take number 9. We'll give you number 43. And then somebody walks in and says, well, we really, Pittsburgh, Omar Khan, the general manager of the Steelers, walks in and says, well, what if we gave you our 2nd round pick this year and our 2nd round pick next year and this guy, because we really want Justin because we don't like Kenny Pickett at all. Guys, this is a very fluid situation. They're going to have to play this right. I don't know what's going to happen here. All I know is if they botch this, you're going to end up with and I want fans to prepare for this, the fact that the Falcons are going to have to draft a quarterback in the draft, and they may not be able to trade up, and you may end up with taking J.J. McCarthy, for example, at 8 instead of Dallas Turner, who I really want, and there's no guarantee that J.J. McCarthy beats out Desmond Ridder. Well, if they take J.J. at 8, they got to start him. No, hell no. Raheem Morris has got to win. And if he brings in J.J. McCarthy and J.J. McCarthy can't play and Desmond Ridder outplays him, Ridder's going to be the starter whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. And it's interesting that y'all mentioned earlier talking about that they think that they could be in contacts with Chicago because Big Low conspiracy. is really thinking that
Wait, March 1st?
On March 1st, I'm really thinking that Caleb Williams is sabotaging himself. I feel like he doesn't want to go to Chicago. Like, has anybody else heard that he doesn't want to do a physical?
I mean, the number 2 team is his hometown. Am I right?
Yeah, they are. To your point, though, Bigelow, and they were talking about this on a station this morning. They were saying that he basically, the top 5 teams will have access to his medicals, right? Because I guess he's figuring he's going in the top 5. Everybody sans that, or everybody outside of that would not. And they essentially explained it like, sometimes these teams can use your medicals as leverage, right? Oh, okay, you broke your ankle 12 years ago. You're going to go to a doctor now. So maybe there's some fear in regards to that. But from my understanding, everybody that's not in the top 5, because I guess he's assuming he's going, but it's somewhere in there. Everybody in the top 5 will have access to his medicals. Everybody outside of the top 5 will not. So that's I don't know if that makes it clearer, but that's where we are.
Okay.
Well, keep this in mind. When you draft, there's 2 mistakes you can make, and the second mistake is the worst one. The 2 mistakes you make are not taking the right guy, passing on a Patrick Mahomes or an Aaron Rodgers. The worst mistake is taking the wrong guy. And, then you, especially a quarterback, you set yourself way back. Look what happened. San Francisco got astonishingly lucky that Brock Purdy, the last guy taken in the draft, turned into a viable, again, competent starting quarterback.
Yes, they did.
Otherwise, the Trey Lance thing was a disaster that would have ruined the franchise.
Yep.
So, you can't take the wrong guy here. That's the only thing you can't do when you're talking about, drafting a quarterback. And it's such a damn crapshoot, guys. It's a crapshoot. If everybody knew anything, I mean,
we'd all be starting.
Brady 6th round. We can go through all the list here. I mean, Zach Wilson was a number 2 pick. Ryan Leaf was a number 2 pick. Aaron Rodgers went 24th. Tom Brady went in the 6th round. Drew Brees went in the 2nd round. Who knows?
That's what fans are saying with Fields. They're like, hey, this kid's a 1st rounder, and you got Ritter. This kid's a 3rd rounder. Look at the stats and this, what. And I'm just trying to go and tell people that, both quarterbacks are dealt a bad hand, but that's what you get. Sometimes you get good quarterbacks. Sometimes you get bad quarterbacks. And, NFL is full of them. It's just a tough situation.
And John, we're not holding you too long, are you? Because
no.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure. I want to be holding you captive.
John, I wanted to kind of hit on the point that you alluded to, and that is there's a certain amount of fortune, right, that you're going to need in order to be successful at this. Guys, we could go after Kirk Cousins and miss.
Right.
We could go after Justin Fields and miss. So you really have to prepare yourself for any and all possibilities, right? We could go after Russell Wilson and miss. So, there's a degree of luck with this that, hey, if we're lucky enough to get Justin Fields, we can do this. If we're lucky enough to get Russell Wilson, we can do this. But to Jack points, there are probably 8, 9, 10 other teams out there trying to do the same thing.
Yep.
So, you may have to be prepared that maybe we do sign a Ryan Tannehill if we can't get these other guys, because to John's point, we cannot go into the draft hoping and wishing and praying.
Yeah.
You got to have certain things in place. Those are my thoughts, guys.
That's the Fields thing about it. You can't get to the draft until free agency, and the Falcons need a quarterback. You got to pick up the phone and make some calls.
Yeah.
You just got to see what can we get done in the free agency. Now, if the Bears say, hey, we want 2 first rounders for Justin, and we want 2 second rounders. Hey, we'll call you back. Hang up the phone. We move from there. But if they're given, what? And you heard Poles say it the other day. We want to make Justin feel happy if we trade him. And then the call from, I guess, Justin's manager. He's in the house jumping around. He's having a good time. John, another quick question. Justin Fields' agent is David Mughalada, who's Kyle Pitt's agent, Terrell's agent, and Jesse Bates' agent. Am I right, John?
Yeah,
so there's a chance that agents working deals. We wanted Jesse Bates last year. The video of him and Agent Terrell in the club hanging out.
Right.
Fans put 2 and 2 together. Then Jesse Bates is the Falcon.
2 and 2 equals 4 sometimes, Jack. if you ask me right now, do I think Justin Fields is going to be the quarterback of the Falcons? My answer is yes. I'm sort of surprised it actually hasn't happened so far. I don't know really what they're waiting for unless Chicago's making sure, and to its own benefit, they want to meet Caleb Williams first, and they want to do the interview and make sure, are we all good? Chicago's going, are we all good with Caleb? Or are we all good with Caleb? They may wait till after his pro day, though I'm sure he's not even going to throw at his pro day. So I think it's after the combine here where Chicago sits down and Ryan Poles goes, are we good with Caleb? Okay, then let's make the deal. And they just have to, I think it's due diligence on Caleb Williams prior to moving on from Justin Fields here. And so I think that's what we're talking about when it comes to why there's a delay here. But I fully expect Justin Fields to be here. I'd be surprised if he's not. And to your point about what do we do if he's not here, that's a really good question. I think that they are really kind of counting on this. Let's not forget that we're dealing with a new coaching regime and a new offensive coordinator that made the Matt Stafford trade. So I think they understand their offense and what they need for their offense. They traded a pretty good quarterback in Jared Goff, but Stafford fit them better. So if whatever quarterback they want to go for is going to fit the offense that Zach Robinson wants to run. So it's important to keep that in mind too, even if it doesn't fit what you think is the narrative of, I want this kind of a quarterback. We're running a new defense too. So when we're drafting guys, it's got to fit that kind of a defense. They're going to draft personnel. I always tell the story. It drives me nuts because Arthur Smith did this. Imagine a basketball coach taking over a team, walks in, it's a college team, and he looks at them and says, wow, I've got 6 7'3" guys. Look at all you 7'3" guys. All right, guys, here's what we're going to do. I'm a run and gun coach. We're going to throw out 53s a game, 53 pointers a game. And the 7'3" guys look at him and go, but we're 6 7'3" guys. I don't care what you are. You're going to run my style. I don't care. No, that's not the way it works.
Yes.
You got to go get guys that fit your style.
Exactly.
So, and if they're going to run a 3-4, Grady's not a 3-4 guy. Grady's he's outside on the 3-4. They're going to have to go get a monster in the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Omanyala, but you're going to may have to go out and get a Mekhi Becton to help your offensive line. You got to, as you said, you got to get forward to help. You need a corner, you need a safety, you need a nickelback, you need an edge. You may need another offensive line. If they go to the combine and Olu Fashanu of Penn State blows them away at offensive tackle, they may go, you know what? We just can't pass it. Jake's going to be older. This is a Pro Bowler for years. This is Orlando Pace. We got to take him.
So the question for you, John, I mean, this offseason going into training camp, we're looking at competition battles from wide receiver 2, 3, 4, 5 around that area. Who's going to be your tight end 2, 3? Who's going to be your cornerback outside of AJ? Your inside linebacker, your 3. I mean, there's going to be a lot of competition battles going on at camp. Like that's going to be meaningful.
Coaches.
Yeah.
And the schemes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I want to see.
There's going to be a new route tree. There's going to be, a new defense.
You say a new route tree?
Well, sure. Yeah. Zach Robinson is going to run a different route tree.
Is it because of the 3 wide receiver set? Apparently, there was a percentage that was put out that Zach Robinson ran more than, the Rams offense ran more than 50% of a 3 wide receiver set. The Falcons ran more of a 2 wide receiver set. I'm guessing with Zach Robinson here, we're going to see more of the air raid type offense kind of thing. 3, 4 wide receivers.
This is who I want. Okay, so I'm going to tell you something. So keep your eyes on this.
Okay.
Second round pick, Ladd McConkey, because he fits. He's your Cooper Kupp.
Go down.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Go Dogs. Love it.
I love
it. Hey, John, we're all Dogs fans here.
Yes, love it. Love it.
Man, yeah. That's who I would look at. I'd be all over Ladd McConkey in round 2 if I'm there. I may move up for him because you need a Cooper Kupp.
Now, fans are saying Dallas Turner at 8, but Justin Fields, if he becomes the quarterback, had mentioned to the Brown brothers in the podcast that Falcons need a wide receiver too. There's a guy named Malik Neighbors in the draft.
He'll probably be gone.
Okay.
The bigger question is Brock Bowers gone? And that's the key. Now, let me ask you, because I keep going back to this. Does Raheem Morris, Zach Robinson, does anybody look at Kyle Pitts and think he can be a wide receiver? They just got rid of Jonnu Smith, right? The cap cut. And you can get a blocking tight end if that's what you need. Do they view Kyle Pitts in any way as a wide receiver and not as a tight end? And if that's the case, could they go Brock Bowers?
Mm.
Oh, John, you're just trying to move the needle today.
I mean,
I'm
that's
just asking.
Oh my God,
hey,
John,
John, like,
John,
why would you,
John, it's 11:50 in the morning here.
Why would you do that to us, John?
We're trying to get
Come
this
on.
out the way.
Golly.
That's a thought, right?
Just asking a question.
That's a thought.
Thought.
Is that Brock Bowers at 8, John? And I know it's a ridiculous question.
Yeah, it would have to be at 8.
Okay. I look. You know what? I'm not opposed to it.
Can you imagine that offense now? I give you
Absolutely.
Justin Fields with
Absolutely.
Bijan and Drake, and I move Kyle out wide, and I pick up Brock Bowers and Lab McConkey, and we just go for 550 points this year. How about we do that?
Do it. Let's do it.
I think they do move Kyle more in that wide receiver role with Zach Robinson's scheme. We don't know what the scheme is, but seeing what Zach Robinson could do, I would put Kyle Pitts more into that wide receiver role and maybe go get your tight end who maybe bring back a Pruitt or maybe somebody who can help fit the scheme. But I do see more of Kyle Pitts playing more of a wide receiver role. Country, we talked about that last year of how Arthur Smith can use Kyle Pitts. And then we wanted to see it, and then it didn't happen. But I think with Zach Robinson, you see the weapons around you. First of all, you got Bijan Robinson and Drake London and Kyle Pitts on offense.
And Tyler Algier, by the way.
And Tyler Algier, we don't want oh my God, hats off to Tyler Algier. And I don't know what CP, would you take a shot, John? Would you bring him back?
He's still going to be here. I mean, yeah, you got so many weapons. This offense so underperformed last year.
It did. It really did.
If you're Justin Fields, you're looking at this team going, "Oh my God, I could do something here."
Right. Agreed.
And all we need is one more touchdown a game, and you go from 7 wins to 10 or 11 or even 12.
Absolutely.
One.
Easy.
Absolutely.
In the words of Kobe Bryant, easy.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
Or the words of Matt Ryan, just do your job.
Now, old chicken holler, because I did see Zach Robinson say this. He said that they were thinking about using Kyle Pitts more as a traditional tight end, lined up in line and things like that. But
that's fine.
I don't care. I just want to see. I want to see a unicorn. People been talking about him, and every time it rains, I go outside and look at the rainbow, hoping I can see it. But I still haven't seen a unicorn yet.
Matter of fact, it's raining right now. Let me go see if I see that.
Yeah, right. No, hey, Terry, let me ask you a question because I can't. There's one thing I really can't figure out, and that's the Kyle Pitts hate. Do fans not understand that when he had a competent? Again, we're going back to the last time the Falcons had a competent quarterback. The final year, the first year of Arthur Smith, final year of Matt Ryan. He set our second all time in the history of the NFL for receiving yards by tight end. Did I miss that part of it? And did I miss that playing on 2 injuries to his knee? Not one, and we find out later 2, that he still made catch after catch after. I mean, he makes Julio catches out there.
He does.
What am I missing here? Why the hate?
John, I think maybe it's recency bias. What have you done for me lately? And then I think it may be, and no disrespect to any fans, but it may be a lack of context. Right? Because context is important. I, for one, hope the Falcons re-sign Kyle Pitts because I think that there are 2 elements to his game that are really alike Julio. Number one, Kyle tracks the ball downfield very well. Yes. So I would agree with you that I think he would be a great wide receiver candidate. And number 2, he just seems to have an ability to get open. As far as, what the fans are thinking, honestly, John, I don't know. I think it's a situation of just not really paying attention to the last year with Matt Ryan. And secondly, maybe not seeing the context that you can be a great receiver, but if you don't have a quarterback to throw it to you, that's like having a Maserati with no engine. You're not going anywhere, right? So, maybe that's it. Jack, what say you?
Well, the Kyle Pitts situation, I stand on it. The Falcons owe Kyle Pitts an apology. You drafted this guy at the end of Matt Ryan's career. Matt Ryan helped you get your, like John said, the award. And then after that, Marcus Mariota. And then Marcus Mariota just, after the Steeler game, he's gone. And Ritter comes in for 4 games.
He quit. You can say it.
And then it's the injury. And then Desmond Ritter and Taylor Heineke. And it's like,
yeah.
Like, I don't have a quarterback here. Kittle is, getting numbers, and Kelsey is getting numbers, and some of these tight ends in the league that's showing up to these tight end camps are getting numbers. People want to see Kyle Pitts get numbers, but Yeah, that's true, Country. But I want to see Kyle Pitts eat. I think he'll be here in Atlanta going forward, when they go with the option situation. But if you get a Fields, if you get a Russell Wilson, though he has weapons, and Kyle Pitts is a weapon. And that is a guy, if I go to the huddle, I need to get the ball to you. I'm watching the Super Bowl, watching Kelsey eat. I'm watching Kittle eat. And I'm like, why the fuck we can't get Kyle Pitts the ball? Just like the way – there's literally a whole playbook for Kelsey. This is the playbook for Kelsey. This is the playbook for the team. That's what I want for Kyle Pitts. And I saw that with Julio and Matt, but now I need to see that with the new players and the new coaching staff. But then again, Kyle doesn't have a quarterback to trust.
There you go.
There, Ritter's there, Heineke's there. Now you getting ready to draft for bringing the guy. Kyle's like, shit. I mean, I'm glad to get paid, but I need a quarterback.
Yeah.
We also got a couple Superman chats, guys. Padre, he said that he kind of confirmed what everybody else was saying. Says Caleb isn't doing evals for every team, only those he's meeting with per Bleacher Report. Dun, dun, dun. That's a Superman chat. Also, Dixon Wade, he says Pennett's blindside blocker would be Caleb McGarry. He says Pennett's is a lefty, and that should give everyone pause at 8.
Yes.
So, you trade for Fields and draft Dallas Turner, in the words of John. Dun, dun, dun. That's a Superman chat. But, I mean, that's crazy because, another thing that we definitely got to, talk about before we head out is, I mean, so let's say it's a situation where you don't get a quarterback, right? What would be, and I know you touched on this earlier, John, what would be all of y'all's perfect scenario at 8?
Jack Spade at 8. I throw 80 on the run. Outdoor weather, though, not indoor.
I'm talking about real life. Not Madden. That creative player that you made.
Yeah. I still have hopes and dreams for myself. But shit, man. If you can't get a free agent or a draft guy, man, shit, you got to go Ritter. You got to see what Zach Robinson can do with this team. Or, I don't know, you try to do Ritter for the last year, and then next year you go find that guy. But I think this is the year to go get the quarterback. This is it.
What was the question? Was the question if you don't get a quarterback at 8, or was the question if you can't get a quarterback in free agency? Like, I'm trying to understand the question, Country. Can you reiterate it for me?
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, you can answer it either way. So let's say you go ahead and get your quarterback. So let's say you go ahead and get Justin Fields.
Right.
No. If you were going 9 quarterback, like what direction would you go in?
Oh, edge rusher. Dallas, all the way. Edge rusher. We need to get to the quarterback. We had 42 sacks last year without a dominant pass rusher. Can you imagine the damage that we could do with a pass rusher? So if we already have our quarterback, for me, it's no question. Right, it's Dallas Turner. Is that the kid's name? It's Dallas Turner or bust. That's how I feel about it. John, what are your thoughts?
The NFL does things ass backwards. The NBA does it right. The NBA has the draft, then they do free agency.
Yeah.
The NFL does it ass backwards. They do free agency, then they do the draft, which creates all sorts of problems that we're talking about today. If the draft were coming up, on March 4th and not free agency, then we could go through the draft and go, okay, this is what we need now in free agency. That's not the way the NFL works, and it really screws everybody up. So if you're sitting around on draft day and you don't have, you got Desmond Ridder and nothing at quarterback, I think you're going to have to start thinking about the potential of drafting a quarterback. And then, which I don't want to be in, but I don't think you have a choice. And then you'll have to value that quarterback. Could you then maybe trade down to 12 or 14 and still get, a Bo Nix or a Penix or something, and then just make the best of it, I guess, and then try and pick up another second round pick or something, and do the best you can. That's a scenario I don't want this team to have to be in, which is why I think the people who hate on Justin Fields are missing the possibility that's the scenario that we could be in, and that's not going to be a good place for this team. I think they'd make the best of it. I want to have full faith and credit. I am thrilled that Raheem is the head coach. I have thoroughly enjoyed everything that I have seen and heard from him. He sounds like a much more mature and older coach than the man I knew back even 5, 6, 7 years ago. I really think he's got a real grasp on this. I have very high hopes. And, I drink Kool-Aid and I drive bandwagons and all that kind of stuff. But I also try and be as honest as I can, even when fans call me out for being a homer. And I always like to say, if you mean, I'm a homer for my teams and my city because I love them. Yeah, sure. Of course, I'm a homer. Been covering and following the Falcons since, 1975. So, I'm in year 50, 5-0. I'm getting old.
Wow.
I'm going to be like Joe Biden old.
You just been around.
Not walking into walls, old John, when the wall is clearly right in front of you, John.
I'm getting an old man out here. In these streets here, I walk down, the SWATs, and they just go, "It's an old man." Don't mind him nothing. Hey, listen, I've been around a while, okay? I was hanging around we were going out of the Bow West End in 1978. We were doing all that.
Wow.
So hell,
Yeah,
I'll
you've been doing
tell
this
the story. You're Atlanta when you can tell, when I was in Lithonia High, so sad. 285 wasn't finished yet. And so when they finished 285, the day they did, I was at Lithonia High, the old high school downtown. We got in my Pinto. I had an exploding Pinto, and we drove down Panola Road and then out to 285. We drove around the city on 285 just because we could.
Wow, that is crazy.
Wow.
Now let me ask you this: how long did it take? How long did it take to go all the way around?
Yeah, we were full Pascual Perez. We were just driving around town.
So, John, you mentioned Atlanta, and we want to get a little bit off of football here. Are you lemon pepper wings Atlanta, or are you more so barbecue in the summertime Atlanta? Like how are you when it comes to just being Atlanta? Could you go get a 10-piece right now at American Deli when you finish?
Yeah.
So, hey, John, follow up to that, John.
I will admit, because you can see, the physique that I had, that I spent way too much time at Zestos. But
John, I got a follow up to that. Would the Maven go along with the lemon pepper wings, or is she going to dine on something a little differently?
I just got a side eye.
Oh my God! Come on.
Gotta love it, man.
This is great. This is great. This is what we do it for. The Falcon fans, they love this. Country from your channels over here to One Time for the Fan, and John, what you do with 92.9, and of course off of the air too as well. This is what fans really love, because this is the off season. And I think you can see from the chat to Country's, like I said, Country's channel to a lot of these content creators, fans are tuned in every time we go live because they want to hear something positive about the team. They want to hear something that can make them believe in all these years that Raheem and this new regime can bring them a dream. So if the case may be Justin Fields, John, I just got to hear from you. How does Justin Fields with Bijan and Drake and Kyle, how does he make the team better? Because some fans will still say, no, look at his play in Chicago. It's been poor. It's downgrading. It's horrible. Do not bring him here. But for a lot of fans, they're like, no, we need to see him in Atlanta because this is the guy. Not like the Vic experience, but this is a whole new era. This is 2024. But how could Justin Fields make this team better, in your opinion, John?
Well, I think that he wants to be here. He wants to be a star in his hometown. I think he'll fully embrace it. I think he will be a true leader. I think you will see whatever the best of Justin Fields would happen here, right? And we all know that at his size, with his speed and his arm, that he has the raw ability to be a really good NFL quarterback. And, people talk about the fumbles and things of that nature. A lot of those fumbles were because he was running for his damn life behind an offensive line in Chicago where he's trying to make it up as he goes along,
Right.
And so I think that, whatever Zach Robinson runs, I'll be disappointed if Justin isn't here because I think we will have missed out on an opportunity to see a guy blossom in front of our eyes.
That's well said, man. We definitely appreciate that. Country, Man, I can go for another 2 hours talking Falcons football. I'm doing mock draft in a minute.
I'll be on the air for 4.5 tomorrow if you want.
Oh, of course.
Do it. Yeah.
We would
Of course.
definitely be giving you a call.
I got her. She's I got to take her to lunch.
Oh, hey, make sure you take her somewhere nice, John. No American Deli now. So
where are we going?
Chops. Oh, I heard her say chops.
I heard
no. Yeah, great.
Big John said that in the podcast.
I'm going to Marcel's, honey. Let's go get that double tomahawk, bone-in tomahawk.
Try this a place down. I think it's off Piedmont or Peachtree. Velvet Taco. You ever had Velvet Taco?
No, never have. I've seen it. I've never been in there.
You would enjoy Velvet Taco. I think it's a beautiful spot. I had it in Dallas a couple years ago when I went to the Falcons Cowboys game, and then the manager came out and said, "Oh, you guys are from Atlanta? We have a spot right across the street from Chops." And I was like, "Serious?" Went back to Atlanta, bought me 10 tacos. First day I got back to Atlanta. It's amazing. It's amazing, but it's called Velvet Taco.
I'll check it out.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, there's no double entendre there.
I was thinking that.
We used to hang out. There used to be a place right over off Briarcliff that when we hung out in college, when I was at DeKalb College, I forget what it's called now, like Georgia State Clarkston or something. Anyway, it was because it was Georgia Perimeter. Anyway, it was DeKalb Central when I went there, called the Bearded Clam. And that was our big hangout, and nobody got the name. It was like
it's Bearded Clam. Like, nobody.
No, you take dates there. They were like, "What?"
Okay.
Hey guys, we're heading to the Bearded Clam tonight.
I'll be home late.
Gosh! Don't wait up, honey.
Bearded Clam all night. Like nobody sees.
I could imagine like 96. I'm sitting back, like, "What you guys doing?" I'm at the Bearded Clam.
I'm at Bearded Clam.
Yeah. What are you doing at a strip joint? A strip joint. Beer hall. Beer hall.
Some would say that's the reason why old Belichick.
I know.
Some would say that's the reason why old Coach Bill.
My wife, God love her, the real estate maven, was a producer and executive producer at HLN for 31 years. And and I was when I was anchoring CNN, but I'm getting the television. Let's go. So I gotta go, guys.
All right, John.
That's right. I'm getting drunk.
Thank you, John.
Thank you so much for coming on with us. You take care now.
Bye.
Thank you so much, John. Appreciate everything.
Wow.
Wow. Hello. Matter of fact, let me go around the board. Sheesh. Hello.
What in the world, Bo?
Jake.
Hey, man. Kuntry, Jack from State Farm.
Jake.
Jake. Guys, great, man. That was awesome. Let me tell you something. That was the highlight of my very, very, very brief podcast career. Like, just I'm speechless. So wow, man. Wow. Thank you both.
Definitely.
That's the reason why I love doing this shit.
Yeah.
Because, man, just imagine if I had to get off, or Kuntry too as well, or Terry, we got off the podcast and then we have a 4 o'clock with Justin Felder or Zach Klein, or 8 o'clock with Rich Eisen, talking football with these guys all day.
Yeah,
man, I do that shit in a heartbeat. You
Amen.
know what I'm saying?
Amen.
Kuntry, I call you and talk for what, hour and a half about some Falcons?
Amen.
All day.
Terry too.
Everybody in the chat, make sure that y'all show John and short story, because he's gone now. He got on to me for calling him Mr. John, because y'all know where I was raised at. Like, you call me John Bigelow. I'm like, okay, right. I got you, John. But if y'all want to show appreciation for John coming on and chopping it up with us, make sure that y'all put a 1 in the chat, so you get a chance to go back and see it. We would definitely appreciate it. But look, guys, I definitely appreciate y'all coming on. I did want to ask y'all, were there anyone who stood out from the combine to you that y'all saw so far?
Well, Dallas Turner, didn't he have the highest jump, and didn't he run the fastest time yesterday? So thus far, it'd be Dallas Turner for me. Jack, what say you?
I got a Florida State guy watching, so he's going to be mad if I don't mention him. Yeah, some kid from Florida State. He's going crazy right now. Why will he end up a Falcon? I don't know. But
shout out to T.
It's a big shout out to Thomas, man. But I think Dallas Turner. I've been stuck on Dallas Turner at 8, and watching CBS reports and all these NFL reports are saying no, the Falcons are going to Dallas Turner because they believe that we're going to get a free agency quarterback and we're not going to select the quarterback in the draft. So I'm still on Dallas Turner. I think the combine yesterday really proved to me that, especially watching that 40, was like shit.
Crazy.
Getting that going after the quarterback, bring it to Atlanta. Bring me him in Atlanta. I need to see him here in a jersey.
Mm-hmm.
But there's other talent that we might be missing out on. Like last year, Country, I don't want to be stuck on the Jalen Carter Bijan. I promised myself I would not be stuck on a one-player thing going into the draft because of what happened last year. So Turner is one. The kid from Florida State 2 as well. Jared Verse is another name, Country. You mentioned that too as well. Jared Verse is the guy that could be a fit here in Atlanta. But I'm going to start looking into more because I have the day off and I have the weekend off. So I'm all NFL this weekend. I'm all Falcons. But Dallas Turner proved at the combine yesterday. You don't even bring him.
So I want to run a scenario out by y'all guys. So let's say we get Justin Fields, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say we get him from minimal. Like let's say Calvin really messes around and goes back to the Jaguars, and we get Justin Fields for a second round pick. Would it be out of the realm of possibility that we go off and get Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Can he make it?
If we trade up.
Oh, I mean, opinion wise, Jack Spade, not all the fans. Mm-hmm. If you get Justin Fields, I think all trades are off the table in that first.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Okay.
Somebody hit me up about that yesterday, and I was like, man, like that would be the perfect scenario.
Yeah.
You got 2 Ohio State boys,
If you get Kirk Cousins, would you trade up now to get a wide or another quarterback? Or how would you do it then? Because Kurt is a 2-year guy. Are you waiting? Are you want to sit a guy now? And I don't want to get the Bo Nix down the line and Spencer Rattler 4th round and he'll sit and wait. Nah, F that. I want to know who is Jordan Love was predicted to be the Packers starter after Aaron Rodgers. It was known that he was going to be the Packers starter. I want a guy like that if he's going to be sitting. I don't want he's up out of here. Cooper Rush wasn't projected to be the Cowboys starter once Dak leaves or something. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just a backup. A lot of players in the league are just backups. If you're going to mold a guy, I want a guy that's going to be molded to say he's coming in the game sometime soon. If it's Kirk Cousins, trade up and get a guy if you want to get him at 4 or 5. Drake May's there at 4. Pick up the phone. But like I've been saying, 1, 2, and 3 might not even answer the phone for you.
Yeah.
So stay the course at 8.
Yeah.
Look elsewhere on the board. There's a whole fucking draft room of guys you can get in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just be so tight on if you can get 1, 2, and 3 at quarterback, because you can get a guy in free agency and then go get your Dallas Turner, man. But then again, Country, does Dallas Turner make it to 8?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, especially with this combine showing.
Yeah.
What team ahead of us at 4, 5, and 6 sat there and said, "Oh no, Dallas Turner, he's definitely behind top 10." Shit, no.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I mean, you see what Will Anderson did last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and he's looking like he's going to be a perennial pass rusher for the next 10 years. It's like, why would you pass on Dallas Turner?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially with, pass rushers now not being cheap. So.
And you also have Joey Bosa, who could be out in Chargers, and the Chargers picking around that same area too as well. So that could be your Dallas Turner move, where the Chargers come in and say, "Thank you, bye, Joseph, bye, Joey. I'll talk to you later." Yeah. There's a move like that to watch for. But Falcon fans, the reason why we do these podcasts is because there's so many scenarios. We just can't get everything in an hour, or we just can't tweet everything. I think, Country, you might have missed 100 tweets yesterday because you was working. Same for me too as well. We can't go back and just retrack on some of these things. But when we cut the podcast on, we can bring different scenarios. But I guarantee you, Country is not telling you a scenario where it's like, as soon as the guy gets picked, you come at him and laugh at Country and say, "Oh, we got you. We told you it wasn't him. We told you it wasn't him." Where? We gave you scenarios.
Right.
We gave you options. We didn't sit there and say, "It's him. It's him." And big shout out to Zach Klein yesterday too as well, because the reports of Zach Klein said Kirk Cousins will sign with the Falcons because Zach Klein said it. Zach Klein came out and said, "Boy, don't start that shit with me.
Don't do me like that.
With me.
Don't do me like that."
Right.
I said I heard talk of people talking at the combine. I never said will sign.
Yeah.
Zach Klein boss looking at him like, "What the fuck you say out there?" You know I'm over here typing. You know how some of them bosses be like the Spider-Man got the paper. Hey, what are you doing over there, Spider-Man? Hey, Peter Parker, what are you doing? Hey, get over here. Hey. That's them people that be over there.
J. Jonah Jameson. Yeah.
Go ahead, Terry.
No, I'm sorry. I listened to the radio yesterday, and what he was saying is that, or what he alluded to, was that the word around the combine is that Arthur Blank has said, just get it done. Now, what it is, don't know. Could be Kirk Cousins, could be Russell, could be Justin. But the prevailing thought is they'd rather go with a veteran than with drafting someone. Was kind of like my takeaway, or the crux of what I think they were saying. I think Kirk was kind of leading the maybe he was their essentially desired love, maybe the ideal candidate. But the crux of what he was saying is Arthur is basically saying, look, I don't want to go with a rookie. Let's get this done. Let's get somebody in here who can win. So that's what I took from it. I never took that it was a done deal that they were going to sign Cousins, because guys, where's the money going to come from? So if you sign Cousins, two things have to happen. Number one, Grady and a bunch of other folks are going to have to redo some deals. And two, you're going to have to get rid of, right?
It's a lot of money. It's a lot
that's a lot. That's a lot.
Who didn't do nothing in Washington, didn't do nothing in Minnesota, really. And then here he comes to Atlanta demanding $90 million. And the fan base is like, go get him. Not all the fans. For some of the fans, it's like, go get him. And I'm not throwing any shade or anything, but that's just not my avenue. We just got out of cap hell. Why are we paying this? Why are we paying 36-year-old guy with Achilles injury, $45 fucking $1 million paychecks, paying $100,000? I go out there and play fucking quarterback, man. Goddamn shit.
And
here we are. We just got out of a bad cap situation, and here we are looking like Jaheim, trying to find our way back.
Yeah.
Back. Like, here we are. Like, let's go ahead and
I want to see when Kirk Cousins gets signed. I'm gonna go right in the fucking chat. I want y'all to remember that melody right there too.
And not that someone is not gonna sign him, and I'm not even gonna say he's not worth it, right? Because if Dak is gonna get 60, and I think we can all agree Dak is gonna get 60 next year, then I could very well see Kirk at 45. The issue for me is value-wise. Can you really afford to pay him that when you have all of it? It's not like Kirk Cousins is the answer and we're going to the Super Bowl, right? If that was the case, I'd say do it. We have too many other needs to do that. So if you sign Kirk Cousins, you're probably not going to sign anybody else. You're drafting all rookies. You're drafting rookies for your needs. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know how you could. So let's talk to that for a sec, right? Can you structure some of these deals to where maybe half of that $45 million is this year and the other half counts against the cap next year? Is that possible?
It's not the $45 million for the both years. Not both years. Oh no.
That's what he wants.
Kirk Cousins ain't that stupid. He ain't winning no Super Bowl. And them legs is washed. Oh,
that's what he wants. That's what he wants. That's what he wants, right? But what I'm saying is, from a pay structure standpoint, if you were to do a deal like that, you there's no way you could say all 40 is coming off this year. Like, you'd probably structure it like a part of it is a bonus, a part of it is to be paid. You'd have to structure it, is what I'm saying.
I mean, look, if there's one thing that we've learned, the New Orleans Saints have done over the years,
they know how to kick the can down the road. It's Correct.
It's like how I pay off my student loans. It's like, hey, I'll get it to you what I can.
Yeah. They pay a car over the counter.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're still trying to find ways to bounce out of it. I think they just opened up like $40 million the other day.
They would consider doing.
Yeah. Even if you look at, and this is a baseball reference, but I promise you it's relevant. If you look at Ohtani's deal, his deal is $700 million, but most of the contract is like 10 years from now, right? So, and not that you could even dream about doing that in football because you have a salary cap. I'm simply saying, in order to make these numbers,
it's kind of like the whole.
No, go ahead. You're right. Go ahead. You guys there?
No. I was just going to say it's almost like that Bobby Hill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There might be some small delay. There might be a small delay here.
Yeah, a certain percentage of that contract would have to be, to Kuntry's point, kicked down the road. Like you, there's no way you could do that. And in doing that, maybe you can do it. It's just, no disrespect to Cousins, but the net difference between he and Justin Fields, once you get Justin with a great staff, a great coach, a great supporting cast, is it really going to be that different? Right? Is it really? And you don't know, but my thought process is no. Right? Kirk Cousins is not a scrambler. Justin has access to way more tools than he did in Chicago. I don't think the net difference between he and Kirk Cousins warrants a $45 million contract. That's just my thoughts, guys.
Justin Fields in Atlanta strikes fear with other teams. Because we were one, and Falcon fans, y'all gonna go at Jack Spade like, what the fuck did Jack Spade just say? Let me show you how I'm saying that before you get on me.
Right.
Look what Fields did in Chicago when he was just, mobile, running around, doing what he can with Mooney and DJ Moore and all those guys. He didn't have much weapons in Chicago. Look at what we did in Atlanta with Mariota being a game away from the playoffs, with Ritter being a game away from the playoffs. And Ritter went what, 12, 12, and 13 or 14? 12 interceptions, 12 touchdowns, and 14 fumbles or something. Got sacked a shit ton of times. But at the end of the day, you was one play, one quarter, one sack away from making the playoffs. So you add Justin Fields here now, and a team like Carolina's coming in, they're looking at it like, holy shit, not only do we have to watch Drake, Bijan, and these other guys, we got to watch that quarterback. Right. Because that quarterback, if we leave him any space, now, first of all, I'm not being rude or disrespectful to Desmond Ritter, but teams last year wasn't going into the game saying, hey, we got to scout Desmond Ritter. They're not doing it. Aaron Rodgers, yes. Did you hear the comments of Miko Hardman talking about Aaron Rodgers when he's with a team in practice? He's over there telling the defense, you're not blitzing, you're shading. Oh, you can get back. I don't really know what you're doing. Hey, linebacker, step back a little bit. That's a guy who knows how to control the game. He knows what the defense is doing. Ain't nobody looking over there at Desmond Ritter like, what's he about to do? Man, we know what he's about to do.
Right.
That's what you saw last year. That's why Ritter was in some of those situations. Fields, as John Fricke mentioned.
Okay, I think he's coming. So you might want to block him.
Who?
This is different to my Desmond Ritter impersonation.
Oh shit! Okay. I'm looking around. I get ready to grab my pistol. Like who? Where he at?
I think he's coming. So you might want to block him. I'm not sure.
It's no shade.
Can we hack it, Coach?
It's no shade. I'm not hating.
I love it. I love it, Kuntry.
An identity.
I love it.
From watching the Falcons offense last year. I didn't see the identity. So most teams going in there like, where's the identity of this offense? Where's the identity of this team? And who's running it? This time, if you have Fields or Russell Wilson, but we're talking about Fields now. If you have a Fields, a defense is going to say, we have to spy him.
Yeah.
So get a quarterback spy. Now we have to take a guy from our defense just to watch the quarterback, which messes up their scheme now because they might be running a certain technique where they're not expected to just quarterback spy this guy all game. Why do you have to do that? Because the fucking guy can rush for over 150 yards right now in 2 quarters on you. Oh, don't forget about Drake. Don't forget about Kyle. Don't forget about Bijan. Now he has the weapons to hand off to Bijan on a 1st and 10 and go up there on a 2nd and 1. He's going to strike fear in some teams to where it's like he's looking at his reads. I'm just gonna run just because.
Mhm.
In Chicago, it was like
First down right there.
Gotta go.
Yeah. Yeah.
As soon as he snapped the ball in Chicago, you seen it. It was like run, get away. Because that's what John Fricke mentioned. There was no offense in Chicago. There was nothing. He made a star out of Mooney. He helped DJ Moore a little bit better last year. But then again, where's Mooney now? Where is Mooney? Where is the guy that he helped? That these players in Chicago wasn't nothing with Justin Fields. But now
look at what he did against us last year.
Oh, he dubbed the top
15
15
that
defense.
game against us. We could not stop him. We couldn't, and we had ample opportunity. So look, he's going to have at least 4 or 5 weapons right here. Just imagine what he could do with that. He's got a better offensive line here. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. Kuntry, every time I work with you, it is fun, man. It is just fun. Okay, I got to give you your props right now. It is so much fun to work with you because you know how to interject something at the most opportune time, and you're hilarious. And I just, I'm always telling Jack about you, but I got to give you your flowers now, man. I wanted to say I love working with you, and I told Jack that, but if you didn't, I just wanted to tell you that. But Jack, back to what you were saying. Justin killed. I don't know if you guys watched that game. We could not stop him.
We had 3 sacks on him, and he shrugged off all of our sacks. 2 of them
we couldn't stop him.
Linemen. He shrugged off Bud Dupree like you were in high school, and ran for 20-something yards. Every single play was the Falcons defense that's supposed to be, this decent defense last year. Played against Chicago in a game that was, cold weather, January 1st. I think it was raining or snowing, something. So the elements are against you. You're an indoor team. I understand. But you had to win, 2 of those 5 games or something? 3 of those 5 games to go to the playoff? You went to bed against Carolina, against Bryce Young, to where you could even put up a 2 touchdowns on this guy. Then you get to the Chicago game and let the Bears put up 30 burger on you, 30 piece lemon pepper. And it's like, it's not about the play about Ritter and Fields. It's about winning.
Yeah.
It's about winning. And I know Falcon fans are here like, don't get this guy. Don't get this guy. Don't be upset at Kuntry, me, or Terry, because we all have different opinions. Just like when I listen to Out of Your Falcon Mind, or I listen to other podcasts, everybody got different opinions. Berto called me the other day and gave me a scenario of how another quarterback could be here in Atlanta. And I listened to Berto for an hour talk about this quarterback. And I'm saying, man, Berto has some good points. But Berto's quarterback that he selected is a different option than what Lisa Shepard selected. So don't get upset when all these fans are just trying to find different ways to win.
Right.
Because I don't want to see people yelling at this guy saying, oh, we didn't get Justin Fields and you said it. No, I didn't. I gave options. Oh, we didn't get Russell Wilson and you said it. All right. Who do we have? Let's go win with who we have.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. 100%.
At this moment, we're going to talk about on March 1st, 12/28, we're going to talk about what's in front of us. And what's in front of us is there's rumors of Justin Fields. There's rumors of Kirk Cousins. And I haven't heard too many Russell Wilson rumors. That's just what I'm hearing. The Drake May situation today, Kuntry. He apparently talked to the Falcons first at the combine. So Falcon fans were like, there it is. That's our guy. Right. These are just reports. Caleb Williams also said to the Falcons, if you guys want to trade up, I'll be there. How many of you guys have Caleb Williams on your depth chart? Right. Not too many people. So it's like Michael Penix was on damn near everybody's depth chart until the fucking national championship. So I don't want to hear. And I remember most of y'all that was talking about Michael Penix. So it's like, I'm not over here to point fingers either. I know people who want certain quarterbacks. And if we don't get those guys, I'm going to come to you with a strategy of how your guy or our guy can win. Because we're Falcon fans. We want to win. My quarterback is your quarterback. I don't care if it's Russell, Kurt. Well, I do care. But I don't care if it's Russell, Justin Fields, Jaden Daniels. Go get us a guy that can win. I'm not going to be disappointed if it's Kurt to that extent, but the money is the problem I'm looking at. If you work
absolutely,
that's cool. I'm not the organization. And for that, that's what I stand. That's my rant. Kuntry, I do my rants now. I do my rants at the end of the show. So I got to get all my rants in. That's my rant right there. Quarterback situation.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, my brother.
I love it.
Man, it's always a good time getting with y'all fellas, man. Thank y'all so much for coming on and chopping it up with old country boy. If y'all would like to, would you want to let everybody know where they can find y'all at before we go ahead and close it on up?
T Will?
Hey, I'm at One Time for the Fan, and even though I have my podcasts that are upcoming, I'm going to stay with One Time for the Fan, so you can find me here. And Country, first and foremost, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and as long as you keep inviting me, I'm gonna keep coming back. Jack, as always, thank you for everything. And again, as long as you keep inviting me, I'm gonna keep coming back. And guys, this is great. That's all I have to say. Jack, what about you, sir?
Oh man, Terry, like I said, this has been great with the, One Time for the Fan and Country and all the other content creators that's pushing our content for us here. One Time for the Fan, Sundays, Wednesdays, a lot of pop-up shows. Now we have this breakfast with One Time for the Fan on Fridays that we'll be doing from time to time in the off season to get people prepared. Big shout out to the Rise Up Tour for anybody that's looking to travel, go on the road for some Falcon games this year. Hit up the Rise Up Tour. I can drop the information on my channel or in the chat or however. But the Rise Up Tour, we put on away game events, parties, meet and greets, mixers, only for away games. And of course, we're going to Minnesota, Vegas, Carolina, Tampa, Washington, and some other places too. But I want everybody to know that as a diehard fan, I respect everybody's opinion. I want to say thank you all for tuning in today. And if you want to catch some more content from One Time for the Fan, YouTube, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I mean, Google us. One Time for the Fan is a podcast from a fan for a fan. Terry's a fan. I'm a fan. Bodie's a fan. Kiki's a fan. Chase is a fan. There's a Jaguars fan in the chat, but we'll consider him a fan until he changes teams. But for the most part, we want to say thank you all from our end to you all. Country.
Hey man, look, for everybody out there that don't know me, my name is Big Low Country. I'm just old country boy, former football coach that love to sit around and talk about sports. I want to reiterate what Jack was saying a little bit earlier. That's the beautiful thing about sports. Everybody has their own opinions. Everybody has their own theories. Even in my cousin's case, Big Low Conspiracy, everyone has their own conspiracies. So, I mean, with that being said, it's one of those situations where, beautiful thing about sports is that we can all put, our thoughts and theories together, and then we get a chance to see what happens. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, with that being said, we don't have to be upset, be mad with anybody else because, we don't like Justin Fields because he only got 8-9 wins, or, we really wanted Ritter to, be the quarterback for years to come. At the end of the day, just like Kane, at the end, I say this all the time, just like Kane, at the end of Menace to Society, we said, I just want to live. I just want to win. That's all I want to do. I just want to win.
Oh, hold on. What you say about my mama?
Oh, yeah.
What you say about my mama?
This has been great, man. I tell you.
Oh, man. But look, man, thank you so much to John Fricke for coming on and chopping it up with us.
Yes.
Jack, T. Will, much love to y'all for coming on and chopping it up with us. And, we definitely going to have to do it again sometime. In the meantime, y'all be easy in the chat, coaching staff, one-timers. Please don't do anything that I would do. Y'all already know what time it is. Rise up, 8 times down. Take it easy.
Rise up.
Rise up.
Having a better day now with this podcast, brother.